What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. I am going to be going over my favorite carries for the week. I do apologize for the background noise. I do have the fan going. It is 92 degrees here today, so a little warm. I do have the fan going. I hope that I have it far enough away from my microphone that it's not picking up, but if it is, I do apologize. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the carries for this week. On Monday, I went with a My Card of Monday theme, and that is my Urban EDC Supply F5.5. This one here has the acid etch and stone washed M390, the black micarta handles with the titanium spacer and deep carry pocket clip. Really like this one a lot. It is a lot smaller than what I usually carry, but the ergos on it are really good, and that blade shape is really useful. As you can see, I do use the edge out a lot more than anything else, but I really do like it. It has a very good treatment on the M390, and I really like the way the stone wash came out on the acid etch. They did a very good job on this knife. Really good access to the liner, even though it is inset and thin. They jimped it, so even if you land on the top, you can go over, but it will pinch your fingers. So on this particular one, I just go in from the side and I never have an issue. Deployment is really snappy. It has enough bite on the thumb hole for the reverse flick and the thumb flick. I really do like it. Very satisfying to fidget with. And again, very comfortable ergos. The fact that it's tall and a little bit chunky, for me having larger hands, makes it feel really good in hand, but I do recognize that it probably looks very puny in my hands. But this is what was in my hand on Monday. Really still love that one a lot. One of my favorite, and it is a surprise to me. I wasn't sure because it was a little bit smaller if I was going to enjoy it or not. On Tuesday, I went with a Titanium Tuesday carry, and I brought out my Sharp by Design Mini Tempest. This one has the drop point blade. There is a clip point variant out there with the M390. I think this is a very beautiful blade shape. The access to the liner is a little tight, but again, I think that's more because I have larger hands than it is that this is a good EDC size. The length is really nice, but it's not very tall presence wise. When you go to get into the liner lock, it's the same thing. I just have to go in a little bit early to get to it, and you do have to be careful with this one. It will fall shut on the fingernail, as you can see there, and it has guillotine action. Just really good action, really well done. Riot did a fantastic job for Sharp by Design on this production variant of their knife. It has the fuller, so you can reverse flick. I don't think I've ever been able to get it out this way. Yeah, I just have too big of fingers, and I'm not quite sure it was really meant for that. I think it was just for the reverse flick, and I totally missed. I always want to come down here, and I end up coming off instead of coming in right at the hole. And the front flipper works really well. It's nice and tall. You can catch it really easy for a front flip, for the reach around, or for the roll. Works really nicely, and I do like the way that it looks. I did prefer the twill carbon fiber over the fat carbon. Not that the fat carbon doesn't look good, it just, I felt like you were paying a lot more money, and it just had little tiny hints of blue in it. Don't think it had quite enough pop for me. I would have liked for it to have a little bit more pop. So I think because it looks like a more gentlemanly knife, I feel like the twill carbon fiber just gives it a much cleaner look. But that one, and you can see it's actually longer than the F5.5, but the F.5 has that, F5.5 has that tallness to it, and it's chunky, so it does feel really nice in hand. All right, on Wednesday, I decided to mix it up a little bit because I'm always carrying flippers. So on Wednesday, my primary carry was actually my tactile knife, Bear. And this one here, I am really enjoying this. I am very happy with the performance of MagnaCut on this so far, but really like this knife. And on Wednesday, I actually did dual carry, but this has that milling, as you can see here, on the actual scales, and that does make it nice and grippy. You don't have to use the nail nick to open it up, but I do find that it does give it a little bit of grip. Still breaking this one in I don't open it and close it as much, so when I do handle it, I do try to fidget with it some. But it does work really nice, really slender, as you can see here. The spine and everything, it's just flush. It looks really good. It does actually feel very comfortable in hand to pick it up and use it when you're trying to get into a package. Opening your Amazon package, you're getting into an envelope, which this gets under the lid really nice because it's so slender. But it also feels like it is much more capable. On Wednesday with this knife, I also carried my Petrified Fish Mini Beluga in my 5th pocket. So I had the bear in the organizer down in the pocket with my pen and my flashlight. And this is the Hitch and Timber, if you're wondering. Really like their products a lot. I got 2 different colorways of that because I have 2 different slip joints that I keep in there with the rest of the stuff. This one has 14C28 in. You might be able to see it right there. This one is a fuller flipper as well, so 2 front flippers this month. This week, 2 front flippers this week. Really do like the front flipper action on both of these, and they both happen to have fullers but have a very different approach. This is 4-finger tight grip, but it is again more chunky like the Urban EDC F5.5 with a beautiful black wash blade there. Really nice and really good action. For the money, this is a really nice bang for the buck knife. Let's see here. We are going this way because I have dual wield carried throughout this week, so you guys are getting a packed favorite picks from the week for sure. So on Thursday, I actually carried my Wii Beacon. Really, this thing, man, you see that? It is breaking in super nice. I mean, it is getting smoother and smoother. Ooh, that one fell right on the thumb. Better be careful there. Really smooth, guys. The fuller on this works really well. Flipper, it is dialed for that flipper for sure. The fuller feels a little bit lighter on the detent, but I don't mess with it too much. It has remained centered. You're not going to really see it too much because they did a really good job on the black wash, but the 20 CV on this is holding up really nicely. I love the black and the little bit of bronze. I love the fact that it's blacked out, but I wouldn't have been angry if they would have done like my Roxy 3 and put all of the bronze hardware on there. I think that looks good as well. But this does, I had my finger on the bar, so I was pushing in and didn't give it enough gas. You can do both. You can deploy it with your finger on the pocket clip, but you can also rest your finger on the lock bar. You just got to be ready to give it a little bit more heat when it comes out. And same thing here, if you're going to rest your fingers on the lock bar when you're holding that to deploy it, you just got to give it the gas. The fuller works really well, but I've noticed that with the coated blade, it does feel a little bit more slick than it does with the uncoated. The uncoated blades, when they have these fullers, seem to have just a little bit more bite to them. That was one of the 2 knives that were in my pocket on Wednesday. In my 5th pocket, I actually had the Concept Reverie, and this is the budget end of the Reverie that has the G10, and it has 154 cm blade steel. I did get the black coat. Well, the green came with the black coated. I don't know if any of them come uncoated, but I really wasn't feeling the purple and the orange. I really liked the way that the green popped with the black. I think it's really nice looking. It does have a very subdued black wash going on, but it is a little bit more reflective than some of the other knives that I have in my inventory, like the Wii and the Petrified Fish have a little bit more pelting going on the blade, and you can see a little bit more pelting on the pocket clip. But overall, I think it looks really good. I like the curvature because this being a smaller knife, it actually helps get it into a really good position for push cuts. It pushes that tip way down so that it's catching the material and bringing it up into the blade path, and it lets you get right up on the blade's edge. Now, it does have a very unusual plunge grind. It looks like sometimes it's further back, and then when the reflections hits it, it looks like it's about halfway to the edge. But again, this is probably not the knife that you're going to be using the hardest to where you're going to have to sharpen it up. It would only be if you want to change the angle, and it came super duper sharp from the factory, so I don't think that you would have to do anything with it. The detent's a little light. It's not terrible, but it is a little bit light. I would have liked it to have just a hair bit more strength. Have not had the opportunity to take it apart to actually try to tune up that lock bar there to see if I can get it to tighten it up a little bit. It has very good lockup. It has decent access to the lock bar, and because it's not inset, even if you go directly over top, it is raised up just enough with the jimping to where it doesn't pinch the skin. And this one here, I actually do just prefer coming in from the side. I find it easier to actuate and a lot more comfortable for me. The G10 on this is actually pretty good too. It has nice grip, but it is not very aggressive. It's almost like a smooth G10 with very subtle jimping, which makes it go in and out of the pocket really nice. Apparently I already got something on the scale. I don't know if that's stained or if I actually had it in something. Might have stained it, I guess. I don't know what the heck I got on it, but overall, I think this is a pretty good buy, especially if you are into Justin Lundquist design. I think this might be my favorite from him. Again, very comfortable in hand, and I think aesthetically it looks really good. So that was part of my dual wield for Thursday. It has so much curve, I have to move the knife over. And today, last but not least, first and foremost, I am carrying the Kubey Atlas. I am carrying this today though because I'm trying to get my impressions of this knife. So outside of telling you what you have in front of you, which is the 14C28N in a Wharncliffe, which is a really nice utility shape, G10 handles with a reversible deep carry pocket clip, liner lock, and you have multiple means of deployment. You have the fuller, you have the thumb hole that you can use to do the Spidey flick or the thumb flick, and you do have the flipper tab, which has jimping on it that allows you to do light switch and push button. I think the light switch is a little bit more intuitive and a little bit more comfortable. Don't want to give too much away on this one because again, I am getting my impressions, so I am carrying it today as part of that. And again, I've changed my format, so I'm actually opening and carrying and handling the knife and cutting with it before I bring it onto camera to give you like the full review. So this is a little bit of a sneak peek. I actually thought about doing channel membership and giving people exclusive first look at knives when I'm opening them and talking about them like I used to do with the unboxing, to give a little bit of additional content for anybody that would like to be a channel member. So I am kicking that idea around. I need to finish looking at setting that up now that I am eligible to do so, but I think that would be fun to do for folks that are really into the channel and just really engage with me. It is a Jelly Jerry design, and I think I said it was a 14C28N blade steel, so hopefully I was able to say that. It does have the bead blast on it, which is fine. On D2 I don't like the bead blast because it creates spots where water can trap, but on 14C28N you're not going to run into that problem. Alright, let's go ahead and set that down and show you what my main carry is, which I'm very excited about, and you're getting a sneak peek because I'm trying to adjust to the change for this particular knife. So for Fat Carbon Friday, I have my Spyderco Shaman, and you may notice that this is not blacked out anymore. I had the S30V variant. Sat2 Dave, both on Instagram and has a channel here on YouTube, so check him out. I had sold him the S30V variant with the original pocket clip and scales, and picked up the Blade HQ variant, which has the M4 steel on it, and it has the matching satin hardware on there. I did put the MXG deep carry pocket clip back on here because it did have the satin one on there, and there is a story behind this one which I'm going to save for the review. But there are some subtle differences between the two knives, and I will talk about that in the review. But if you're interested in these scales, these are the Fat Carbon Dark Matter scales. Spencer over on Instagram, goes by Carbodize, makes these for the Shaman. He makes them for the PM2, and he makes them for the Para 3. I think there's a couple other knives too, like the Smock, but I don't know all of them. But if you go to his Instagram, he has a link to his Excel spreadsheet that shows you what he is making them for currently, and he does occasionally add to that list. But loving this knife, and really excited to have the M4 in hand. I really like the M4 and how it's performed on my Smok. And I expect this one to perform just as well because it is the satin. I expect it to be a little bit smoother. So make sure that you're tuned in for that review of this knife when it comes time for that. So that was what was in the pocket today. I guess I should move everything over as I'm talking because I didn't leave enough room due to the dual wheeling days. What's in your pocket? Let me know what you're carrying here lately that you're really enjoying, that you like. Do you have any of these knives? If you do, what are your thoughts on them? Thanks for tuning in. If you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing. Don't forget to set the notification bell to all so you get alerts whenever new content drops. And follow me over on Instagram. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.